Welcome back, loyal followers and new viewers. Obviously, it's been quite a little while since I've made anything on this channel. You can't yawn that soon in my speech. That's rude. Yeah. Long story short, I got a new job that was more full-time than what I had, and I only work 4 days a week, so as you can imagine, they're pretty long days to be getting full-time. There was a few videos I recorded after I got this job, but I just kind of ran out of steam, never got them uploaded, never got them edited, and just kind of stopped recording after that. I had good ideas, but they just didn't come to fruition. But for various reasons, recently I decided I'm gonna try making a go of it again. For one, I just like to have the documentation for myself to kind of look back on what I've done. So I'm gonna take another whack at it and see how it goes, I guess. One of the jobs that needs done today is weighing this year's kids. They're born in May. Most of them were born in May. Some of them were in April. And it's August now, so they really could be weaned, but I just don't have anything else to do with the milk because I'm still feeding them. But I kind of just want to weigh them, see where they are, and kind of see if they're on track to be planning on breeding this fall or not. Got my trusty sidekick with me because I've got a couple different pens of kids and she's going to have to help me bring them up to the barn, but she's more than willing. You ready, Ginger? Ready to go get some goats? Here, buddy boy. Guess we finally got him in, huh, Ginge? Yeah. Goats are terrible hard to work, aren't they? Super frustrating. So they're all growing pretty good. As you probably saw me scanning, I've microchipped most of them because I can't tell a lot of them apart. So some of them I can tell apart too, but I microchipped them anyway. So I've got all their numbers. There's a couple that aren't microchipped, so I've just put names. But yeah, they're all growing pretty good. I've always liked to wean at least 50 pounds, so we're there with everybody. Where did I see a 49? Nikki. She's the last kid born. But I'll probably just keep them on milk since I don't have anything to do with the milk. So I was trying to say earlier, we had so many kids, we had a lot of black ones, can't tell them apart. So I started microchipping them. So you can put it in the underside of the tail there. And it's just as simple as that. It's just way easier than trying to wrestle them and check tattoos because they don't like their ears touched. So of course these ones are going to behave like angels when I say that. It's definitely been the year of the goat. So I've put a lot of more effort into the goats this year than normal and been super busy with them. I finally made it out to a few shows this year. Had some pretty good luck there. On our last one, we won our first ribbon with Mary. And we had a huge doe year, and I kept most of the does so far. I haven't decided quite yet what I'm doing with them, but these are all does. And I've got a few more over there I'll show you in a bit. Most of these are out of yearlings that were born last year that you never saw because I never finished making my videos. This one is out of Mary, and she's a result of breeding Mary back to Lance, who's her sire. And I've got two more of those here. This white one in the back is a Mary kid, also bred back to Lance. And then this one is a Flora kid, bred back to Lance. So I didn't have another quality buck last fall that I wanted to use on these does. And Unfortunately, the one I had used the previous 2 years on these two does, it didn't turn out like it should have. I'm not sure why. They had really good pedigree, but the kids they weren't good. So I was like, well, I'm not repeating that again. I guess I'm going to breed them back to their sire because I don't have another buck. So I did that. These kids looked good. The last ones looked good too as kids. It was when they put the udders on them that it wasn't good. So we'll see. There's no reason why these ones shouldn't be really good. You're just doubling up on what I've already got, and Mary and Flora are good, so no reason these ones shouldn't turn out good as well. And then, another very exciting thing this year, I finally got my solid black doe I've been waiting for years for. Yes, the last kid born of the year. I was hoping I was going to get one because Lance is black, and breeding him to most of these kids are Lance kids in here. But most of them came out Sungo. But the last one of the year came out solid black. She's not a real rich black. She's kind of a chocolate, but it's fading into more black. So very excited about her. Unfortunately, she's really not out of my best doe, so I don't know if she's going to end up staying long term, but I'm going to kid her out at least and see how she looks as she gets a little older. This is Popcorn. I got her from work. I'm working at a vet clinic, and someone needed a home for a cat that showed up on their property. And I said, sure, why not? I'm not a cat person, but figured she'd come hang out at our barn just as well as anybody else's. Alright, so this is the older batch of kids. These are this one's born the end of February. These were born in March. And some of them toward the end of March. This big one here is Bluebell's kid. She had quads. Only one of them, or actually two of them ended up making it. I sold the buck. She is not designed to have quads. I think it was the consequence of a little too much hormones last fall when I was sinking her to breed at a certain time. And these two brown ones, one on either side, they are Chuckles' kids, so they're Bluebell's grandkids. She had triplets, 2 does and a buck. So I've got these 2 does here, and these does actually have different sires, at least according to the preliminary DNA results. I'm having to redo them because there was a mistake made, but this one for sure is, I know who this sire is. This one I'm not sure, but I think it's the other one. So that's kind of interesting. I AI'd her to 2 different bucks. So I think I got one from each. I knew with all those Lance kids I have this year, I was going to need a new buck, so I contacted a breeder and was on a list for one. Of course, she had 4 does or something crazy, and then I think my second choice did too, and it just dragged on, and finally I got the last kid she had of the season. I don't know if it was the last one born, but the last one she had available, so fortunately I was able to get him, and didn't end up with no buck this fall either. But his name is Bigfoot. His mom's name is Lightfoot, and his dad's name is Big Brown, so what was he supposed to be? I don't know if you remember from a few years ago, I bought that goat named Mo that had the hind leg weakness. We never have figured out what that is, but we've had a couple of them with it since. So last year Bluebell had one, and it was related, we thought it was in Eclipse's line. It was related to Eclipse because Bluebell had been bred to a son of Eclipse, but you would think it'd have to be carriers on both sides, and as far as we know, Bluebell's not. And then this year, this buck kid I mentioned, Chuckles had triplets. He had it really bad, and ended up calling him and sending his liver in for copper testing, because I guess copper can show that, but his copper was fine, so we're back to square one with what this is, because I was going to show you this, one of these doe kids currently has it, and I don't know, it's not related to Eclipse at all. This is a Bluebell kid from this year. Dad is an AI buck out of California, not related to Eclipse at all, and it still happens, so I don't know what is going on. It's really frustrating. In this doe's case, I guess I'm going to breed her and just see how she does. If it doesn't get any worse, I can work around it. The biggest thing is she's going to have a lot of trouble like Mo did, getting up on the milk stand, pushing off with her back legs. And there's ways around that. We can get her a ramp or whatever if that's all the worst she gets. So I'm gonna breed her and see. And if it passes on to her kids, then obviously I'm not gonna continue breeding her, but I'm just starting to become convinced that it's not a genetic condition when it's showing up in these goats. I mean, Bluebell's she's 8 years old. She's had, I don't know, a dozen kids before this, and this has never happened before. And now it's happened in her twice and in her daughter. I don't know. I guess I'm not completely convinced it's not copper. Technically, that kid that I sent the liver in, he was already 2 or 3 months old. Technically, maybe he filled up on copper levels somewhere else in that meantime, and that liver sample wasn't accurate. But, I don't know. I'm not convinced either way, but it sure is disappointing. She's a absolutely gorgeous doe. I finally got my wattle. I haven't had wattles in years, and it ends up being a kind of a dud. But I'm gonna hold her out and see how it goes. But like a normal goat, you can lift up on their hind legs, and they're pretty agile. You'll see on this doe, she can't do it. You can see that weakness there. And like I said, that's not really an issue. She can walk around, she can be just fine. You probably saw when I was weighing her, when she went to back up on the scale, put a lot of weight on her hind end, she collapsed. So there's stuff like that, but like Mo, I mean, she kidded and everything, and she was fine carrying that pregnancy, so I don't know. I'm gonna at least breed her and see what happens before I just cull her. Sure is disappointing though. I think that's all I've really got today, just showing my next generation. I do have some things I need to catch up on and some new things that have come up that I want to tell you about. But I think I'm just going to stop this here and pick up on those later. Thanks for watching.